Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Nick West. I play bass guitar and I sing. Let's see, I started playing bass when I was around 16 or 17 years old in high school. After hearing a Michael Jackson tune, it was that Mama say, Mama sa, Mama sa, Mama say, Mama sa, Mama sa. And I remember sitting in the car and I asked my dad, I said, what is that deep instrument in the background? And he told me that was a bass guitar, and I said, well, put me on that. That's what I want to play. I think it was a match made in heaven, because after that, I never put the bass down. I remember my dad teaching me a few runs on the guitar, the bass guitar, and it was a blues. You know, that whole thing. And I'm left-handed, but naturally, since my dad is right-handed, he taught me the right-handed way to play things. And it's funny because my dad had all girls, and since he had all girls, he put us all on instruments. One on the keyboard, one on the drums, violin, guitar, bass guitar, and we all sing. He made us, you know, we had our first group, and our first group was called Heaven Gift. We did a lot of gospel music, and that was where I think I learned how to sing and to play bass guitar at the same time, because it's a separate thing. You know, if you're not playing the exact same thing that you're singing, it's kind of gotta kind of separate the two. So there are a lot of guys that said, wow, you have something on me, because I can't even sing and play. And to this day, I think it's just easy because that's how I've always done it. I never really got serious about playing the bass at first because I was doing a lot of modeling. I was picked up by modeling agencies in different states and did a lot of runway stuff. So I just figured, well, I might as well make a career out of this. I mean, I'm getting paid and it's good money and I'm getting the exposure, and you know, it's kind of fun. So I just figured that that's what I would do. It wasn't until about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, to where I actually got serious about playing bass. I was living in Seattle at the time, and a friend of mine called me and said, when are you gonna get serious about playing bass? You're so good, and if you got serious about it, maybe you could go somewhere with it. And so I started thinking, and I said, you know what, maybe he has a point. And from that day forward, I promised myself that I would get serious and learn all the tunes that I could, and you know, just make myself known. Fender. Well, with Fender, it was a blessing in disguise to get hooked up with Fender. Actually, I emailed a friend of mine and asked what my bass would sound like if I took the frets out of it. I wanted a fretless bass, but I wanted to still have that sound that my American Standard jazz bass had. So I emailed him and asked him about it, and he said, well, actually, let me put you in contact with the guy at Fender that actually makes these basses, and he could tell you a little bit more about it. So what I ended up doing was emailing this guy from Fender and asking him this question, and he took a look at my website and he just said, wow, you know, you're really good, you're really good. He said, well, let me put you in contact with the person that's in charge of artist endorsements and artist relations. I started talking with him, and one thing led to another, and he said, I want to offer you a Fender endorsement. And Fender had just came out with their first 6-string bass, the Steve Bailey fretted and the fretless bass. And I said, oh, I would love to try this. So make a long story short, I ended up getting these two basses, the fretted and the fretless bass, and fell in love with them, and knew that Fender was exactly where I wanted to be. So with SWR, they were coming out with this new combo amp called the Black Beauty. It was actually a remake of this amplifier, 15-inch speaker, and they actually sent me one, and I tried it out and fell in love with that too. And fell in love with that, and then one thing led to another, and they said, we're gonna put you in an ad. The top, we're gonna call it Introducing the New Black Beauty from SWR. And I don't think I'm anything you've ever heard before. I've been kind of categorized into an eclectic soul artist, as far as my voice, I think my voice has that soulful sound to it. And I think that's where the eclectic soul comes from. I guess kind of a mixture of different artists. You be the judge.